sassy, a little bit crazy, a little bit classy. We got dreams and we got goals. We're just a couple of old sassholes.
Hello.
Hi. Is this for real this time or is it fake?
It is for real.
Okay, good. Just
Hi,
checking.
everyone. Hey, you're listening to our podcast.
Thanks for that.
We appreciate it. We are a couple of sassholes over here. I'm Brooklyn Maple.
And I am Heather Terry.
And this is our hour of... I was like, I don't really know.
The power hour of fun and
True crime and fucked up people doing fucked up shit.
Oh, wow. Cartman's in the studio today.
Right.
You guys, I'm going home. Yeah?
Yes.
I loved it.
That I loved what you just did.
Perfect.
No, I was going to say that we try to make light of really heavy situations. I think that's where my head was at today.
Yeah, we do.
Especially today.
He looks down so somber at your notes.
Yeah, my
whenever
story
he said
sucks.
that.
Sucks
it?
a big, dirty penis.
Oh.
A weens.
A Wayne's?
Heather has found it very entertaining that I keep calling myself a wiener when I do ridiculous shit. All of a sudden, I'm a 36-year-old woman, and I'm like, man, I took the wrong turn like a wiener.
It's just funny how you say it. Like a wiener.
Like a wiener. I'm a fucking wiener sometimes.
Well, I'm not going to argue with you on that.
Because math and facts. Math and the facts. I have to tell you something that happened last night, and you're going to be super upset by it, and I'm just going to tell you anyway.
If it's... Okay.
Yeah.
Is
So,
this payback
last night-
for my story?
No, maybe. You know what? Maybe.
story
No,
on
yours is disgusting.
Dextered all over the place. If you guys want to hear that,
Oh
go
my
back.
God. Stop even reminding me of that one.
Okay.
No, so last night, Betty, Spaghetti, and Theodore Roosevelt, they were
Dogs.
outside. Yes. They were outside. And I was like, why aren't my fuckers coming in? And I have so much PTSD because one night or one morning, whenever we go to the gym so fucking early at 4:45, my dogs, I didn't realize that we had wind and the back gate blew open and the dogs were running the streets like fucking dirty horse. And it was terrible. And so I have fear that if I just let them out at night, not paying attention to like the 3 entrances into my backyard, that they're gone.
Yeah.
This time, they're running all over the yard like a psycho. And I'm like, what the fuck? Just like that. I'm like, what the fuck? And I looked out there and I was like, oh my God, what are you eating? What are you attacking? And they were running back and forth. And I was like, okay, as long as it's not a snake, I'm pretty okay with it. I see a frog.
Don't.
Catapult itself. And I don't even know how it got up that high because I don't even think that like Theo had thrown it. It just like went. And then Theo popped that bitch in its mouth like a gusher.
Why? No.
I know.
And you called it a gusher.
I know. Because I suck.
Why? You are a wiener.
I am such a wiener.
You are.
It was terrible. And then Travis just walked outside and I was he was changing because we had gotten out of the hot tub and the back door was open because I just don't care about our heating bills. And I was just like, no, why are you doing this? What is happening? I was like, who hurt you? And Travis is like, what the fuck is happening? And I come in there like I might cry. And he's like, I don't know what's going on. I'm like, our dogs ate a frog. Yeah.
Thanks for that.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
You know other things I appreciate?
What?
Chewy.com.
Yes?
Yeah.
Why?
If you have aminals and you love them and you buy stuff for them, I'm totally promoting Chewy.com.
Not
It's
an ad, but
because
they can be a sponsor if they want to be.
Right. So one of our coworkers, who's a sweet baby angel, she unfortunately lost her dog, but this is the reason we started using Chewy. She lost her dog. And not only did she come home to flowers from Chewy, like, wow, what kind of... Already, that's unbelievable. But she had bought a whole bunch of really expensive medication for the dog, and then the dog passed away soon after. And they refunded her all the money and asked her to go donate it to a shelter.
Oh, yeah. They do
Yeah.
stuff like that all the time. They've done that for a couple other of my friends, too, like when their dogs pass.
Yeah. So they know about Theo and Betty, and the dog food we always use just got recalled. And they told us all about it, which is nice because we wouldn't have known about it. You know, it's not like if I went to Walmart and I bought the dog food, I would have known that dog food was recalled.
Yeah, no.
So we ended up sending out that email that had all of the SKU numbers, like barcodes on there, sent it to all of our friends who knew that ate the same dog food so that they could dispose of their dog food. So it ended up being like a save the salmonella dog food situation. Yeah. But then they also, not only did they refund us for the bag that we had, but they refunded us for like the previous bag that we had bought, which unfortunately the previous bag we bought was also on that list.
Oh.
But they know that was consumed. Mm-hmm. So they knew that whole bag and they still refunded us the money for it. I don't know. I just feel like they're great.
They're on it. They're on to something.
Yeah. And the email back when I had asked for the refund, they were like, thanks for asking for the refund. We've sent it to your account. You know, I have dogs myself. This is always a terrifying situation. I'm like, motherfucker, man. Yeah, I'm like, thanks, Kyle.
They're on to something over there for
sure. They really are. So if you're
like,
on the fence, you also have like dog profiles and it's the holidays. So they're going to have Black Friday deals and steals. My favorite, deals and steals.
Speaking of Black Friday, when this comes out, it's going to be the next day. So you're getting ready for your big dance.
It's about Thanksgiving, bro.
This comes out on Thanksgiving.
Yeah. Yes. And we're giving you a reason to be grateful. Exciting news. Heather Terry, my sweet, sweet love. She is going to be at my house with my mom, Mona Maple, the day before Thanksgiving, in which we prepare for the big dance.
Yes. And the big dance this year is my husband's 40th birthday.
Yes. Happy birthday, Sir William.
And this means he doesn't have to eat me attempting to cook. I don't have to take him out to dinner. We're going to Brooklyn's house for lunch. Then we're going to his sister's house for dinner. Eating good in the neighborhood.
Yes,
for sure.
Are. It's going to be so fun.
Much excited.
You're not going to see the turkey, so I'm happy about that journey for you.
I'm not going to.
Yeah, because the turkey starts at like 4 a.m.
Are we supposed to do a meet and greet? Like, what do
No, because you would hate to see me touch raw meat like that.
Yes, because I have to wear gloves when I touch.
You would not be okay with me having to literally like finger bang it.
Yeah.
Did you ever tell the story where I had to FaceTime? Okay, so the first time I was making turkey, my mom was supposed to come over and she unfortunately didn't. And I have anxiety. I don't know if I've made that clear on this podcast before. I have really bad anxiety.
Yes.
And I put a lot of pressure on myself and I have specific turkey anxiety. I'm always worried that's not going to be moist.
What? Don't.
Dude, that's a real thing. I don't care. That's
word.
Literally the concern is that people have dry turkey. I do not care if you do not like that word.
There's a lot of people that don't like that word.
Okay, I don't know anyone and whatever. Anyway, so I could not find the giblets in it. And Travis made a joke. I ended up, Travis was hunting. I FaceTimed Heather and Heather was like just trying to have a conversation with me. And I was like running late on getting the turkey in the oven because I couldn't find the giblets. So I call and I'm like, hand the phone to Will. And I'm like, you would have thought my robot went down.
Yeah.
It's like, Will, fix my robot.
Yes.
And I freaked out and I had my phone inside the cavity. I was like, look inside the cavity. Do you see it? And he could not find it either. Long story short, Travis had made a joke too, like about the fact that I can never find the giblets because they're always tucked in some crazy. It's not in the caboose, people. It's not in the trunk. They're not putting in the trunk. They're like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put it underneath the freaking, I don't know.
Wait, what are giblets again?
The bag of the innards. Yeah.
Ew.
They keep them in there so that you can make like giblet gravy. Like that's the reason why they keep. Some people like to eat them. Like eating the liver is really, really good for you or some shit, but it's also disgusting and a lot of people don't do it. I just try to find it and throw it away. Long story short, though, I never do. And I always tend to cook it inside because Travis has found it inside the turkey 3 out of 4 times.
Well,
maybe this year will be different.
Maybe.
We'll find out. I love more than anything that I get to see Heather and Will on Thanksgiving. It just confirms how important you guys and how big of a piece to my family you are. So
yeah.
I'm excited for you guys to be there.
Me too. I can't talk about food anymore. I'm freaking starving.
My
stomach is growling so loud. But did you know that people...
Probably not.
Well, you probably did. People prefer apple pie on Thanksgiving over pumpkin. And I did not...
What?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, number one, I always prefer apple pie. But
I love pumpkin pie.
But pumpkin is you were
going to say the reason
for the season. That is like me not having green bean casserole. Like then I'm not going.
Yeah, I'm like that with mac and cheese.
I got you really good mac and cheese. I know that you feel about mac and cheese. I made sure to make mac and cheese.
Oh my God.
Travis was like, I don't believe in mac and cheese on Thanksgiving. It's not. I was like, dude.
You don't believe in it.
I was like, I don't know. I didn't make it one year and it felt like something was missing. Something was awry.
When was that? Was I there?
I used to never really make mac and cheesies.
I just bring joy wherever I go.
Yeah, I got a double. I was like, just make 16 batches.
I just take it home. I just, listen, threaten me the good time.
All right, just eating it in the bed.
Yeah.
Do you
I
have fun
would.
Thanksgiving facts?
I think I do.
I love Thanksgiving facts.
Okay.
Or I really just like holiday facts.
Man, I should have had this prepped.
It's okay. I shocked you with it. I was like, yeah.
You're like, hey, do you have that thing you said you had? And I was like, well, yeah, kind of. So 48%, they did, New York Post posted an article, and they had a ton of math and facts, right, about the holidays. 48%, 48% of Americans go to a party solely just because they knew that they would have sweets there. They're like, I don't feel like going to that party, but the cupcakes. Like,
Okay, I can see that during Christmas because there's like the Buckeyes and there's fudge. And, you know, like Christmas has legit fucking treats. I'm not saying Thanksgiving doesn't, but Thanksgiving is more of a pie party, if you ask me.
right.
Just saying.
Pie party.
Well, pie party.
And then 52% said that eating sweets and desserts beats out opening gifts.
And that is why we have a diabetes situation here. I'm like, that does not, no. I'd rather tear into some fucking wrapping paper.
Yeah. They said 48% people have hidden their favorite treats to avoid sharing.
Wow. Okay,
So-
I can see that.
Kitchen cabinets, 61% do it in the kitchen cabinets. 52% they find a cabinet that doesn't have food in it, so like your Tupperware nonsense. And then
Wow.
49% in the bathroom.
Okay, well, people are gross.
I'm not that hard up that I'm going to be putting some like cake up in the bathroom. People taking
I
dookies
mean-
right beside it. No.
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 There is nothing that I'm going to get. Okay, you know what? I can understand. Okay, Travis and Jay, they'll go in on some fucking sweets and I won't get any. So I understand if I got some good fudge that I would take 3 pieces, put it in a little Ziploc, and then put that up in my bedroom.
I
can see that.
Sorry, Will, but I hide stuff from Will because he's so tall because he's like 6'4", so I hide it real low in the bottom cabinets, but he found my hiding spot now, so... So
What
now
are you
I
hiding from him?
So now I just hold it. Like if I... Cause
Secrets?
No. Because, you know, we're trying to be healthier, so we can only eat certain things. So
Yeah.
I will hold up a bag of something and be like, look at me, make eye contact. This is for me. Please do not eat it. I will share, but do not consume all of it without me being there at the party. So that's just an example. Yeah, he hides
see.
shit from me too up high.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Well, are you ready to talk about our stories?
I guess.
Who wants to go first?
Ready?
Yeah.
Rock, paper, scissors?
Ready?
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors.
You do that
Damn.
every time.
And you
I
do
feel
that every
I
time.
know.
Heather literally has not learned to stop doing the paper, and I'm going to keep doing the scissors.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I have Wikipedia here, obviously. I also did All That's Interesting, and then I did a whole bunch of other sites, and I didn't write them down because I sometimes suck.
Wiener.
I'm such a wiener. Okay. I already hate to say this, but I have little information on the victim here, and I must stress that this is gruesome and very hard to comprehend. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you about the murder of Kelly Ann Bates. Have you ever heard of her?
No.
Besides me saying I'm going to do the story on Kelly Ann Bates.
That's all I've heard.
I even typed in remembering Kelly Ann Bates, like trying to get the wording to where we're going to remember her. We're going to look into her. And I couldn't find anything about her except for her death. Unfortunately, it makes sense because of the level of utter terror and like horror that was her death, that it unfortunately outshined her life.
Yeah, that happens quite a bit.
It does.
Mine's
does.
like that too.
So it's the mid-90s when you and I were just getting our sea legs.
Oh my.
Margaret Bates, she returns home to her house in Hattersley, England to find her 16-year-old daughter, Kelly Ann, standing in their kitchen. So unbeknownst to her mother, Kelly Ann had brought her new beau for the first time.
She just said she showed up with her man.
Yeah, she was just in her kitchen and
Ballsy.
she's like, I'm here with my boyfriend.
Ballsy.
And she's 16. Exciting news, new beau, let's do this. Let's meet the old chap. The motherfucker walks in the room. His name's James Patterson Smith, and he is in his mid-40s.
What? Ew. I'm looking him up. I want to see
And
what he
he's
looks
disgusting.
like.
So here is where I'm going to do something horrible. I don't ever do this, but I'm going to do it. And it is what it is. Firstly, I know that her parents went through hell because of what ends up happening. But I despise her parents. I'm disgusted by her mother. I hate so much about how this situation happened. I don't give a flying fucking rat's fucking ass. Your daughter is 16. She is not 18. Legally, she is under your care. The fact that you allowed statutory rape essentially to happen, you're fucking disgusting.
Yeah, that's bad.
And whatever you feel is like, I get so mad at all of this, but I'm the most mad at the parents.
Like, you're supposed to be a parent, not a friend. Like, if she's pissed at you, who gives a shit? Because in 10 years, she's going to be like, I'm so glad you didn't let me date that old fuck. Who is ugly.
Ugly as sin.
And if he wasn't a bad person, I'm assuming.
Let's continue.
Okay.
So her mother ends up saying, this wasn't the man I wanted for my daughter. I vividly recall seeing our bread knife in the kitchen and wanting to pick it up and stab him in the back, she said in a later interview. I'm like, whatever. You let your daughter leave with him. I cannot see any environment where I would ever allow this. I literally wrote, I am rage typing this. And I want to beat a punching bag right now. Yeah. My blood pressure was fucking high. Yeah. Fucking high. I would never. You know what? No. I'm even thinking, I'm like, Jaden, well, he's almost 20. I have no rights to say anything. If he just walked in here with a 45-year-old woman, I'd probably be like, way to go. She's older than me. 10 years older than me. They're like, what the fuck is happening? Like, you know, he doesn't have money, right? He's still young. He's still creating his wealth, if you will. But I'm like, I couldn't imagine having a daughter and allowing that. Apparently, the couple had actually met in 1993 when Kelly Ann Bates was 14. And they'd been keeping the relationship secret. 14. He was like 45.
Gross.
In November of 95, not long after introducing him to her mother, Kelly Ann moved in with the unemployed Smith in nearby Gorton. Though skeptical of the decision, her parents agreed on the condition that she just needed to keep in regular contact.
That, and he's unemployed on top of that. So it's not for money. It's not for looks, in my opinion.
Yep.
Ugh.
Of course, that's never how that works. Over the next few months, their once enthusiastic, fun-loving daughter starts to withdraw from her family and stops coming by. When she does, she has bruises on her arms. No, her parents don't make her stay and not let her go back to her boyfriend that is basically their age. And this is why I hate her parents. So she does come by. She obviously becomes withdrawn and she has bruises. And you still fucking let her go live with her fucking way too old boyfriend.
I hate that.
Let's talk about this disturbing motherfucker.
Okay.
This guy, I don't know. He's up there on the people that we've talked about on the podcast. So James Smith was an unemployed divorcee living in the Gorton area of Manchester. Described by acquaintances as house proud.
What? What does that mean?
Proud of his house, Heather.
Oh, well, yeah, because he has
what is house proud?
Well, he has no job, so he's always there. I'd be proud of my place where I had to be 24/7 because I had nowhere to go.
Yeah, but he obviously had a job to have a nice house.
Yeah, well, it's gone now, so we don't like him.
He was well groomed, and he was a teetotaler, spelled because this I had to Google this shit because it just made me laugh. T-E-E-T-O, so T2 taller is how it's spelled. Teetalism, I had to Google this, is a practice or promotion of total person abstinence from the consumption of alcohol, specifically in alcoholic drinks. A person who practices and possibly advocates teetotalism is called a teetotaler or teetotaler, or is simply said to be a teetotal.
What?
Globally, almost half of adults do not drink alcohol, excluding those who used to drink but have stopped. A number of temperance I don't know why I put too much in there, guys. He also didn't smoke cigarettes. So he's proud of his house. He took showers and he didn't drink and he didn't smoke.
Sounds boring.
I just gave Heather a look like, no, I mean, sounds like a clean, fresh man. I don't know. Smith's marriage had ended in 1980 after 10 years because he had been violent towards his wife. His next relationship was with 20-year-old Tina Watson, whom between 1980 and 1982, he used as a punching bag, is what is written here, even subjecting her to severe beatings while she was pregnant with their child. She said, at first it was now and again just a little tap, but in the end it was every day. He would smack me in the face or hit me over the head with an ashtray. He would kick me in the legs or between the legs. Watson managed to escape from the relationship, during which Smith had also attempted to drown her while she was bathing. Oh, after that relationship came to an end in 82, he started seeing 15-year-old Wendy Motorstead, I don't know how, whom he also abused. In one attack, he held her head underwater in the kitchen sink in an attempt to drown her.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
He's
So
a fucking perv.
I don't know. What I don't understand is this age shit.
He's a pervert.
He's a pervert, but he's a rapist.
Yeah.
And I just don't know how no one's like, how are people letting this? I don't know. And then in one of the photos that I saw of Kellyanne, like it's the one that they show in all of the screen, like in all of it, it's really close in on her face. But then I saw whenever I was getting my googs on, it pulled back and she was holding a beer. And I'm like, she was probably 14 or 15 in the photo. So I'm also just like,
maybe that was part of
I
his
don't know
games.
enough about the 90s. No, she was with family.
Oh.
But you know, like I don't know about the 90s. I just don't know because I was too young. I was just too young. I don't know what it was like though.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Kids, I don't know if they were drinking beer in garages at 8 and smoking Marlboro Reds. But in 93, Smith had began grooming Kelly Bates when she was 14 after he met her while she was babysitting for friends.
Oh God. That's what I was going to ask, how they met.
Yeah, but I also don't understand how he met somebody when she was babysitting for friends. Every time I babysat, it was inside of a home.
Well, I don't know. He's house proud. Maybe he's checking out other people's houses.
I don't know. Although Bates had left Smith briefly because of arguments with him, she was once more living with him at that funeral road by the end of November of 1995. As we mentioned, she had become withdrawn, and in December, she resigned from her part-time job. In March of 96, Bates's parents received cards purportedly from her for their anniversary and birthday, but it had Smith's handwriting in it.
Oh.
When her brother tried to see her at the house, Smith said that she was not at home. When a concerned neighbor asked after her, she was briefly shown because she was standing upstairs in a window.
Oh God. So she wanted out.
Yeah. She could have walked out the door.
Yeah.
So, at one point she could have walked out the door.
Yeah.
But anyway, on April 16th of 96, Smith reported to authorities that he had accidentally killed his girlfriend during an argument in the bathtub, claiming that she had inhaled water and died following his attempts to resuscitate her. He also claimed that she often pretended to be unconscious.
What the fuck?
I literally wrote, what the actual fuck? Like, what the fuck? Number one, we had a fight in the bathtub.
I know.
Me and Travis, when we get into it, I'm like, let's do this in the bathtub.
Yeah. They're just having a bubble bath and fighting
She
with a rubber
sassed off.
ducky or something. Like, what the
And it's like, sometimes she just likes to act like she's unconscious. So I just thought she was acting like she was unconscious.
Like a 5-year-old in a pool. Like, you know how everybody does the dead man's float?
That is not okay.
No, I'm not promoting it, but you know we all did it.
I did not.
Really?
No.
Well.
I only did it from the, I don't want to drown. Yeah.
Oh, I get that. Well.
I'm like, I just fall on the ground and be like, I'm unconscious. Like, what is that?
Look how passed out I am.
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. I don't think this dude was really trying to cover anything up. I don't know what to really say about this because everything else I'm going to tell you, you're going to be like, okay. Okay. So they go into his house and they found her naked body in a bedroom. So she wasn't in the bathtub anymore or in the bathroom. Her blood was found throughout the house, and a postmortem examination revealed over 150 separate entries to her body.
Oh, God.
During the last month of her life, she had been kept bound, sometimes tied to a radiator or furniture by her hair, or other times by her neck using a ligature.
The fuck?
William Lawler, the home office pathologist who examined her body, said, "In my career, I have examined over almost 600 victims of homicide, but I've never come across injuries so extensive."
Jesus.
All right, everyone. Here's where you stop the podcast if you have kids around or you're listening to it publicly or simply don't want to hear something terrible. Roughly, we are going to talk about this for at least 60 seconds to 75 seconds. So if you'd like to fast forward along, please feel free to do so. What I'm about to tell you is the most horrific things you could ever possibly imagine ever happening to a human being ever in your life, let alone a 17-year-old girl who was manipulated into being with a 45-year-old man.
Oh, God.
Keep in mind this happened over the length of 4 weeks. So 4 weeks.
Okay.
So many days. The following injuries were found on her body: scalding to her buttocks and left leg, burns on her thigh caused by the application of a hot iron, a fractured arm, multiple stab wounds caused by knives, forks, and scissors, stab wounds inside of her mouth.
What?
Crush injuries to both of her hands, mutilation of her ears, nose, eyebrows, mouth, lips, and genitalia. Wounds that were caused by a spade and pruning shears. Both of her eyes had been gouged out, where he then stabbed her eye sockets and partial scalping.
What?
All of this was done while she was alive.
Fuck that.
The pathologist determined that her eyes had been removed not less than 5 days and not more than 3 weeks before her death. So the belief is that she had her eyes removed in week 1 of 4 weeks of torture.
Oh my God.
He gouged out her eyes and then later stabbed them.
Fuck.
She had been starved. She lost around 44 pounds. She did not receive any water for several days before her death. Peter Openshaw, the prosecutor in the Smith trial, said, and I quote, "It was as if he deliberately disfigured her, causing her the utmost pain, distress, and degradation. The injuries were not the result of one sudden eruption of violence. They must have been caused over a long period and were so extensive and so terrible that the defendant must have deliberately and systematically tortured the girl. The cause of death was drowning. Immediately prior to that, she had been beaten in the head with the shower head."
How do you even wrap your head around that?
I don't think you can. I don't know how she lived that long. My biggest, I think all of it was terrible. Like partial scalping.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But
like that. The eyes, I don't understand how you could, I just don't know how we live and then she was just blind. Ugh. And then after that, you're just being tortured. Blindless.
This is
blindless.
Terrible.
I can't believe I said blindless, but without eyes. And then the guy says that he denied murder and claimed that Bates, ready?
Don't.
Quote, "would put me through hell, winding me up." He also claimed that she had taunted him about his dead mother and had a bad habit of hurting herself to make it look worse on me.
Are you
When asked to explain why he had blinded, stabbed, and battered her, he said she had dared him to do it, challenging him to do her harm.
What is wrong with him? This is making me mad.
And that's what I was telling you. Like, he literally did those horrific things.
Yeah.
That no one would ask for. And he was like, "Oh, she asked me to do it. She asked me to do it."
No, psycho.
Right.
No one's going to ask you to do that.
No. I don't know how no one heard screaming.
I don't know. And the whole point of this is I don't know.
Right.
Like, that's what?
I just, there's no way you can have any of that happen to you without excessive screaming.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Jillian Mezzi, a consultant psychiatrist, told the court that Smith had a severe paranoid disorder with morbid jealousy and lived in a distorted reality. The jury at Manchester Crown Court took 1 hour to find 49-year-old Smith guilty of Bates's murder. They sentenced him to life imprisonment. The judge, Mr. Justice Sachs, recommended that Smith serve a minimum term of 20 years. He stated, "This has been a terrible case, a catalog of depravity by one human being upon another. You are a highly dangerous person. You are an abuser of women, and I intend, so far as it is in my power, that you will abuse no more." The jury were offered professional counseling to help deal with the distress of seeing the photographs of Bates's injuries and the sickening violence of the case. What they saw was so utterly terrible that each and every jury member had to go to counseling after it. They all accepted it.
I bet. Fuck.
I couldn't even imagine I couldn't imagine what the photos.
No, I was thinking about it in my head whenever you were talking about it. And then and then you said the trial. And I'm like, oh, I bet they had to see so much shit and hear so much shit.
Yes.
Man, some people get on parking ticket juries and...
Well, not to mention you're trying to figure out like which wounds happened when, and so they were understanding like the length of the torture, all of that. There wasn't a lot of information about where he is now. He's 74 years old, and I saw that he's not in Gen Pop because he's a psycho.
Good. He dies alone when he's like 200 years old.
I just I don't know what to say.
That's
just such a fuck. I don't think there were any there's only one episode. There was a show that did talk about it, and it was based on the parents. And I think the mom had just recently died and all of that. I don't know. I don't know how you do a show with the parents and you're like, you let him. And she had talked about the fact that like she found it to be so weird that she was getting cards and it wasn't signed by her daughter at all. And she knows her daughter's handwriting. So that was also like suspect. But then come get your daughter out.
Yeah. Call the cops, be like, hey, I need to go get my kid. Come with me. She's living with this old man who is apparently crazy. Man, we need to take a turn.
That was horrible.
That was really bad. And I can't believe I've never heard of that before.
And I was saying it was so slow. Like it wasn't, sorry, not so slow. It was just, it's a small story, if you will. You know, it's girl dates the wrong guy. Parents do not say no. And then he just kills her.
Yeah. That shook me a little bit.
Yeah. I told you it fucked with me.
Yeah.
This one was really heavy. And man, I would love to stop doing heavy ones, but I think I'm just going to pick up an even heavier one next week. So.
Right. Speaking of that. Fit fam. Well, now that you're done with your murder boot camp over there, here I go. I was looking up Thanksgiving murders because 'tis the season, and I just stumbled onto this story like last year, and I've been hanging on to it, waiting for the right time. You ready?
I'm so ready.
Okay. Wikipedia, it's an episode of Snapped, Oxygen.com, Murderpedia, and then I also used All That's Interesting. Omima Ari Nelson. Have you heard of her?
No.
Okay. I think I'm saying her middle name right, but it doesn't matter. Was born in southern Egypt in 1968 in a poor farming village. She had a rough childhood, and her dad was known just around town as a violent dude and had a bad temper, and he took it out on them, usually.
Ugh.
Yeah. Her mom got the guts, though, and left, and she took her daughter to Cairo, and they moved to this slum area called the City of the Dead.
Whoa.
Yeah. And
could you imagine living in Cairo and that? Wow.
Yeah. And it's wild because I looked it up. I'm like, what is this? And there are literally people living amongst mausoleums and graves because there was a housing shortage. So they're like, that's fine. We'll just live right here. Like, it's like house, kids playing outside, graves in their yard. Like, they built houses around them.
So they built
haunted as fuck. I have a lot of questions about that,
okay,
but we're going to keep doing it.
Okay.
But you can Google that later.
I will. Okay.
500,000 people were crammed in there, and they're all trying to make ends meet. Now, that part growing up for Omima was rough, and she really wanted a way out. When Omima was 18 in 1986, she met an American working in Egypt in an oil field, and when things got serious, her family were like, you need to marry him because you're not a virgin, and no Muslim man would accept you anyway. So,
ooh.
Mm-hmm. He brought her back to Texas, and not too long after, they got a divorce. All marriages, sounds pretty solid when you're 18 and an immigrant to a foreign country, and then,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you go to Texas.
Right. She finally got out, though, of Egypt, but she was 19 in a foreign country. And her English wasn't that great. And she did have one thing going for her, though, her looks.
Oh, I want to look. Give me the name again.
Omima Nelson. Well, it's going to show up under something else later, but okay. She was petite, and she had beautiful dark complexion. So she was like, oh, hey, they like this here. And
oh, yeah. Oh, I have seen. I don't remember the story, but I remember her photo.
I remember her picture too.
Yeah. She's pretty.
She started meeting, because she figured out, like, hey, people are finding me Foxy Roxy. So she started capitalizing on that.
Good for her.
Yeah. And she started meeting men in bars and would lock them down quick in a relationship, and literally for a place to stay and money.
Okay.
And they wouldn't catch on. So she'd be like, okay, I'm bored with you. She'd find a new one, and she did that for a few years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That would be so much effort.
Right.
Like, I could not. If someone's like, yo, you've got to like bounce around town and like keep dating different people to have somewhere to stay, I'd be like, I cannot.
It's so much work. Yeah.
So much work. Maybe not then, but it is now.
They somehow brought her, that journey led her to Orange County. And on Snap, they said she didn't have a ton of job experience, so she would clean houses, babysit, and then sometimes she was like a part-time model as well, like just take jobs and stuff. Mm-hmm. And in October of 1991, she was in a bar, and she met a man named William E. Nelson, also goes by Bill. So Bill was a 56-year-old guy who was originally from Texas and stuck true to his roots. So big belt buckle, red cowboy boots, red matching Corvette that matched his red cowboy boots and shit like that. He was fun. He was a loud guy, and they said you definitely noticed him when you walked into the room. And he wasn't shy about being loaded. And
yeah, I was like, it totally sounds like a guy that like
flashy, very flashy. And he claimed to own a huge cattle ranch. So of course, Omima's like, okay, you're fun, you're loaded. Hey boy, hey. Bill had 5 kids, and some of them were older than her because keep in mind she was 23 at the time, and he had 17 grandkids.
Wow.
So daddy issue.
I mean, is it? She literally just wanted money.
Yeah.
She
gravitated towards older men And
Because they're the ones with money.
She wanted to be a kept woman, yeah. They apparently fell for each other, though, and they fell hard. Everyone said that they were like teens in love, and he didn't act his age, around her especially. So, it was outside looking in, you could think gold digger, but they also kind of look cute together. Less than a month after they met, Bill asked her to go back to Texas to meet his family on a road trip. So on the way down, less than a month, they stopped in Arkansas to meet some of his friends and family. But guess what they did on the road? They went to Phoenix,
It was like they had
found
sex.
a justice of the peace, and got married. Like 3 weeks in.
Oh.
His kids were like, Dad, what? Like, I mean,
I would be so upset.
right? That's what I
Oh
was
my God,
thinking.
I'd be devastated.
Yeah, you met this bitch 3 weeks ago, and she's younger than me, and now you guys are married.
Oh, I'd be devastated. I'd be like, she is literally taking your money.
Right?
Make sure in the will my name is all up in it.
They traveled around together, and he showed her off because he was very proud that that was his wife. So he showed her off for a few weeks, and then they went back to California. On Thanksgiving, Bill called one of his daughters and was saying how happy he was, and they were about to have a turkey dinner, and they were newlyweds, and da-da-da. So, they thought everything was fine, right? Mm-hmm. Cut to December 1st, 1991, 3 days after Thanksgiving. Jose Esquivel heard a loud-ass banging on his apartment around 9 a.m. He looked outside, and he saw a red Corvette, and he's like, who the fuck is that? No. And he went back to bed. 4 hours later, he heard that knocking again, and when he opened the door, it was Omaima, a.k.a. his ex-girlfriend from the year before. She was like, my husband Bill beat the shit out of me, and he raped me for a few days and did bondage against her will and all this stuff. She's like, I finally escaped, and because she got a hand loose, she hit him over the head with a lamp, and she accidentally killed him. Accidentally.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Then she's like, okay, Jose, ex-boyfriend that I dated a year ago.
I thought you were making a joke like, okay, Jose. I'm a twat, sorry.
Wiener. Okay. So she says, look, I need you to help me get rid of his body. And if
Whoa.
because she accidentally killed her. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he hasn't seen this bitch in forever. And she shows up in the morning like, hey, help me do this. He said, I'll give you $75,000 and you can have his motorcycles. And she did also said to Jose, I cut him up and put his body parts in trash bags.
What do you need my help for then, bitch?
Jose's
What
like,
do you need my help for?
he has a truck. She needs a truck to move the bags because she has his Corvette and that's it.
Oh my God, I can't.
Jose's like, yeah, you wait right here. I promise I'll go get my truck. Instead, he's like, you fucking psycho. And he goes to the payphone because the 90s and he called the cops. And he thinks she's sitting there at his apartment waiting, thinking that he's out there getting his truck. They rushed over there and Omaima was distraught and had some injuries that did look like sexual assault. She said, I don't need you. He's lying. And Bill's on a business trip in Florida. I just can't get a hold of him. And she was pretty cooperative, they said. The police are like, all right, sure, lady. And then they're looking in her car whenever they're talking to her. They look in a trash bag in the seat and see human organs like lungs and shit in the car.
Okay, so hold on. Let me get this straight.
Yes.
Okay. I got a lot here.
Yes. I threw a lot at you in a little...
So, okay. She needs a truck because all the body parts aren't going to fit in her vehicle.
She wanted to take them all in one swoop.
Yeah, but then why did she put a trash bag in the vehicle?
That I never got. I don't understand.
That's what I'm saying.
Either.
Like, what the fuck was she like? She
In the
loaded
seat.
up. That's what I'm saying. Like, she loaded up one and was like, "Oh shit, I have too many bags. This ain't gonna fit. I need to go. You know who has a truck? I just need a fucking truck.
Yeah.
I'll go ask Jose.
Yeah.
What? And then you know what? Let me not take the organs out.
Not even put them in the trunk. They in plain view. They opened the door and he used a search tool and opened it and was like, "Yep, that's lungs," and was like, "What the fuck?"
What?
They weren't looking for that. They just thought she was raped and they were just trying to help her at the And it's so anyway. So obviously they took her in for questioning and then they went to Bill and Omaima's apartment. They broke in and saw a computer nerd horde. There's computer shit everywhere because Bill repaired and built computers, so that was normal, right? They went to the bedroom and they saw a bloody bondage scene. The mattress was soaked down to the box springs with blood, and there were things tied to the bedposts, but they said there was no way it was from that. All that blood was from her being injured because she was trying to say he was alive. During Omaima's 4-hour interview, The bitch paced the whole time and rambled. It's it's creepy to
I remember
listen
seeing
to.
stuff. Yeah, I don't remember enough, but yeah.
And she talked about hallucinations, and she was referring to herself in the third person. Like, listening, they played clips of it, and it freaked me the fuck out. Like, just listening to it. She stayed true to the fact that Jose is lying and Bill was alive. So she's just saying, "Oh, my ex is jealous. He's making this up." Why?
What about the bag of organs?
Oh yeah. I knew you. She said the organs in her car belonged to someone that Bill had done a bad drug deal with because he just got paroled for drug smuggling because he flew a plane of weed from Mexico.
I've got nothing.
I know.
I am sitting here with nothing.
Yeah. She was acting crazy, and the cops were like, all right, we need a break. Like, you're a lot. It would be exhausting. And they sent her to the hospital for a rape kit to document her injuries. The rape kit said there were no signs of forced sexual acts, and the cuts and bruises were signs of dismembering a body and not bondage gone wrong. So
I wonder if there's just like a catalog in the hospital where they're like, these are the wounds that happen when you are sloppy, when you cut a person's body apart. Like, you'd be able to tell because you'd be able to see like if somebody came at me with a knife and I shielded myself versus if I stabbed and my hand slipped. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I bet that's what it was with her.
Uh-huh. Yep. Now, the cops are still at their apartment. Guess what else they found? More trash bags with body parts, with bruises on the ankles from ligatures, a broken lamp, an iron with blood and hair on it, in a frying pan in the kitchen. They also found 2 hands that were cooked with turkey. Hands. Deep fried hands.
Was it really deep fried?
Mm-hmm. Yes. It gets... Okay.
Heather.
In the freezer.
What the fuck?
In the freezer.
I'm leaving.
You're leaving. In the freezer behind some hot dogs and frozen vegetables, they found what they assumed was Bill's fucking head that had been deep fried. I'm going to pause. She fried his fucking head. The look you're giving me.
I don't know what to say.
Nothing?
It just makes me think of like what that must have looked like because I think of like a fish fry.
Yeah. And it was burned. Poor Bill.
So she didn't do it well.
Well, I think she's just trying to get rid of everything. But the cops go back to Jemima and they're like, hey, about this. And then she cracked. She confessed immediately and claimed she didn't know how she did it. She started talking about drug and alcohol use, his abuse, and then demons inside of her told her to do it. She rambled on about visions, and they thought she was trying to deflect or prep for her insanity plea. Yeah. They charged her with murder, and then they were like, fuck, now we got to piece together, like, a literal puzzle of Bill. And he had 25 skull wounds, so she literally beat him to death. Apparently...
While he was tied up.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, she dismembered him so, quote-unquote, well, that they were concerned that she had done it before. Another thing hit him. Bill weighed 230 pounds, and they only had 180 pounds of him. And she was literally cooking him and Dahmer was around this time as well.
Yeah.
So the neighbor said he'd heard the garbage disposal running the whole time nonstop for like 3 days. And when the story broke, her past started coming out. She got arrested for stealing several times. And this one time in 1989, they were at a department store and 2 women caught her stealing clothes. And they were the security guards and they went to search her. Jemima bit, I need you to make eye contact with me, bit one of their titties off.
What?
Almost came off, but still off.
Oh my God.
Sorry. But almost still though, like it was separate. Like, ow. He grabbed the other one's hoo-ha so hard, she fell to the ground. Like, it made her legs buckle.
Oh my gosh.
Like, homegirl got a little rage. You getting comfy?
Yeah, I can't get comfortable in this chair today.
I know you
it's
leaned
fucking
back
on my back. So I have to keep like I'm fucking over here with my legs dangling and shit. I need a different chair situation.
Yeah.
Everything's fine.
Yeah. So because she obviously went to jail for like titty biting, and then
Ooh, that sucks.
Yeah, and then when she got out of jail, she moved in with Robert Hansen, and he was one of them that came forward after her face was on the news. He was an ex from right before Bill, and he was literally just using her for sex. He admitted it. She said she asked him for money, and Robert's like, well, what are you going to do for it? And she's like, oh, I'll tie you up. He's like, okay, sure thing. She pulls a gun on him, and he wrestled it from her, and she ran off. She pulled a gun on him because he said, "I'm not giving you any more money." And then, he was embarrassed, though, and he didn't call the cops. And then, so after he came forward, they charged her with assault on top of that for the murder. This one, though, didn't involve demons or whatever, so that's why it's important, because she didn't say any of that
Right,
shit.
we didn't hear about the demons.
Right.
The titty-biting demons. Golly.
She had a pattern of manipulation and stealing and leaving these dudes, like just running through them house. But Bill didn't survive, which is, On December 2nd, 1992, Omima, who's only 24 now, her murder trial started.
My gosh.
Yeah, 24. The prosecution theorized that she told him, "Hey, let's tie you up," and did the whole "give me money" song and dance, but Bill was like, "No."
I mean, it's her husband.
Yeah.
Like, don't they have the same bank account?
Especially
Especially in the 90s, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Ladies, am I right?
Robert Hansen testified at the trial, and he told his story, too, about what she did before. The defense, rape, abuse, battered woman, they went that route.
Of course.
They even presented evidence. This part is really sad because it's true. They even presented evidence that at 7 years old, back in Egypt, she had undergone a female circumcision.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Man.
So she was, women in her village did this to her without anesthesia.
Yeah, they hold them down.
And sterile instruments, which sounds fucking terrible.
They do it in so many places, literally mutilate you.
Sad.
And then you have no pleasure.
Yeah.
Ever.
Mm-hmm. The defense said that years of molestation, physical and mental abuse, a terrible upbringing, and even had a psychologist testifying that she was deeply disturbed.
I can totally see it.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Like that.
She
That breaks something in your brain.
Right. She thought she was a descendant of ancient Egyptians who talked to her. They said Bill demanded, this is what the defense was saying, that they said that Bill demanded oral sex daily and he would degrade her the whole time, and she snapped. That was what they said on the episode. Like, she lost her shit, finally.
Dude, if Travis was like, "Suck my dick every day."
And then called you a bitch
stupid
the whole time?
bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, bitch. I'd be like, dude.
And bite off, spit in his face.
Right. Now who's a wiener? Fuck. No way.
No, who's a wiener?
Who could do that shit?
This bitch.
Golly.
Okay. The ancient Egyptians told her to dismember him because that's part of their belief system. So they said if you dismember him and scatter him, then you're not going to go in the after. So she wouldn't see him in the afterlife. That's what they're saying.
Intriguing.
The prosecutors are like, okay.
It's also the best way to get rid of a body, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's
At the end
what
of the day,
the
it's a
prosecutors were like,
very hard one to
they were
fight.
like, dude, I can't do it. My voice is too low today.
I don't know.
Yeah. The prosecutors were like, okay, all that sucks. We hate that happened to you. But you did say that you cooked his ribs in the oven with barbecue sauce on it and said, quote, "It tasted sweet just like I like it."
What?
Yeah.
What?
Exactly.
What the fuck, man?
I'm telling you.
What in the fucks?
Yeah.
I'm going home and watching Snapped with my mom tonight.
Yes.
I'm watching this.
Have her watch this one. She'll like this one. Omima even took the stand at the advice of her lawyers and told her side, saying it was a living nightmare. She said Bill said he would, when they were going through the desert to get married, he pointed at the desert and was like, if you don't do exactly what I say every day, I'm going to put you in that desert.
What did her, okay, I'll wait. I'm sure. But like the family, are they like, that's not what my dad was like?
Yeah, they didn't give much perspective from him.
Number one, we all have different relationships.
Yeah.
So if I abuse Travis and you didn't, I never saw her abuse, it's a whole different scenario. But I feel so bad for the kids.
Yeah.
Like, number one, if I had a loving father and then all of a sudden you deep fried him.
Yeah.
And this is now a spectacle. And then, like always, you have to say that they did something wrong to you, just like Travis from Jodi Arias. Mm-hmm. Always that shit. Like, it's. I don't know if Bill did any of that, but at the end of the day, it sounds like what always happens when somebody kills somebody.
Yeah, there was no evidence that she did it. It was escalating after she, pulled the gun on Robert. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you're right.
They kept playing up the fact that he used to be a drug runner. I was like, it's weed. Calm down. Like.
Bill?
Yeah, he just got paroled for flying that plane of weed back from Mexico. Like, big whoop, who cares?
Yeah, chill out.
Yeah. She said during the last rape, she hit him repeatedly with the lamp, then grabbed the iron, then that broke, then she grabbed scissors, and her memory went blank. She said she didn't eat him, even though she said it. Like, she literally said it, and came with bags of his body parts and was so confused. So she said she stabbed him with the scissors when she was, quote unquote, trying to get away, blacked out, and then came back to, and there was just bags of his body parts.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. That's convenient.
Right. After a week of deliberation, the jury couldn't make up their minds as to what degree of murder. They're like, we know you did it. They just don't know what. On January 12th, 1993, she was found guilty of second-degree murder for Bill and assault with a deadly weapon for Robert Hansen, and got 25 years to life in prison. Mm. She never stopped, though. This is why I don't believe her bullshit. While in prison, Omaima managed to marry a loaded elderly man in a wheelchair who would come to see her for conjugal visits in the 90s. She Anna Nicoled from behind bars.
My God.
Mm-hmm. When he passed away, he left her a shit ton of money.
Oh, my God.
So bitch even got a sugar daddy from prison.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Why didn't you and I try harder?
Omaima went
Missed opportunities, bro.
Right. Omaima went up for parole in 2006 and 2011, but I know you're going to be shocked she was denied both times. She can try again in 2026, and she'll be 58 at that time. And that is the murder of Bill Nelson by his wife of a whole month, Omaima Nelson.
That is bizarre.
Right?
That's some weird shit.
I had to keep, happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that was real weird. Yeah.
Yeah, that one, what?
Try not to think about this when you're carving your turkey.
Oh my God. We came out with some shit today.
We did.
Yeah, we did. Well, happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you for listening. Just subscribe to celebrate your Thanksgiving. Give us thanks.
We are thankful and grateful for each and every one of you.
We are. And give us thanks back by subscribing.
Okay. Heather says, I'll interrupt Brooklyn twice and say, and make sure that you subscribe.
Yes.
They got it, Heather.
Okay, thanks. Just making sure.
They totally get it. Okay, you guys, we love you. Thank you so much.
We love you. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Theodore, can I pet that dog?